Welcome back to the Locked On Barnegat Podcast. I'm Tyler Bjorkman, here with my co-host Ethan Anthony, and today we will begin our seasonal coverage on the Barnegat Boys Soccer team. And we're going to have a special visitor coming on the podcast today to answer a few questions, get some opinions on the team. We will get to that later. But for now, we're going to take a look at last season and see what can change this year. So, a lot of graduating seniors. There, I believe, were 6. And a very injury-plagued season caused the team to have sort of a down year. We went 8-10-2. This year, expect it to be a lot different. We have some serviceable backups. We have very quality starters, especially offensively, that we will also get into later. But let's go straight into the season opener and the home opener. We begin the season at Brick Memorial August 31st. They went 16-8, and our home opener is Long Branch on September 5th. They went 15-5-1. Those are two very big games that we will be getting into in just a couple seconds, but I'm going to give that over to Ethan so that he can explain more about it for us.
Yeah, our schedule is very front heavy. Some of our other key games include on September 19th, we go up to Toms River East. They went 17-5-1 last year. We then travel to Ocean Township on September 28th. They went 12-7 last year, and it is a tournament game. Then we go home versus Brick Township on October 2nd. They went 12-7-1 last year. And finally, at Monmouth Regional, October 12th, they went 4-14-1 last year.
Now, this obviously isn't our last key game of the season. There are tournament games after that, and that is why we put Monmouth Regional on the key list, because going up north, especially into Monmouth, they're not a great team, but the bus ride, that could be sort of a trap game potentially, and you need to get momentum going into the tournament, especially because of how many games you play in a short amount of time. That can be a big booster heading into the tournament. So now, let's take a look at some of the key players. So first, we're going to take a look at Nate Cisco. He is a senior cam. He was a starter on varsity as a freshman, but missed all of last season. With him coming back, the team's going to be much stronger this year. Ethan Lawrence, he's a senior cam. Both him and Nate Cisco may switch to winger this year. That is something to look out for. We have Connor Glines. He's a senior striker. And looking at some of these players this year, knowing that the midfielders will move up to forwards, the offense is going to be strong. If the defense can sustain the pressure, they will have a very good season this year. The key is definitely going to be defensively and another goalie battle. Ethan Iannone and Mason Wheeler in a goalie battle. Ethan, I'm going to give this one to you. What do you think? Who do you think should be the starter there?
Yeah, I know last podcast we were talking about the Malinowski versus Kakowski QB battle. Again, two very different sports. I mean, a lot of countries call this football, but this is America, so we call it soccer. Iannone has more experience. He did come in last year to replace Donovan Paul after he got hurt. We will go over him later in the episode. But the team's trajectory went sort of down after that. Wheeler, on the other hand, really hasn't had much varsity experience. However, he is a senior, so he can get senior priority. I think I would give the nod to Iannone here, just solely because of the experience factor, but it's going to be a much more fun battle to watch.
This is definitely going to be a tighter battle in goal than it will be for football between Malinowski and Gutowski. I'm also going to give the nod to Iannone here. Mason, I don't talk to Mason Wheeler very much, but I know him very slightly. He's a very good dude. Iannone, we're like best friends. We talk all the time. We're on a bunch of baseball teams together. He is a very good goalie. He was very good for JV last year. He was a team captain for goal. He barely let anything in. I'm going to give him the nod here, but I would not mind seeing maybe a two-way goalie tandem where you play both of them depending on how the last game goes. It's definitely worth giving a shot in some of the games against teams with a worse record. Mostly towards the end of the season, I believe, is when you start playing a little bit worse opponents. I think that's when you start trying to test out something like that. So now let's take a look at some of the graduates from last season. I'm going to hand it over to Ethan here, and he will explain a little bit more.
Yeah, we do have a lot of quality starters going away from last year. Starting off with Leo Chamorro, he was a striker. He was very good, scored most of the goals for our team. Next, going over to Riley Stolte. He was a cam, also helped out on the offensive side. Then going over Pablo Tapia, center back, great defenseman, gonna be a huge loss. Then going over to Donovan Paul. He was a starting goalie last year. He unfortunately had to leave just past the midway point of the year last year due to an injury to the wrist from Lacey. Then Ethan Ulanes. He was a left wing last year, also helped out on the offensive side of the ball. And finally, we have Aiden O'Halloran. He was a right wing, very good playmaker, led the team in assists last season. Some huge losses to the team last year that Coach Peters is definitely going to have to fix.
Yeah, I definitely do agree, Ethan. There's just some big losses in here. Specifically, you look at Leo and you look at Donovan Paul, especially. We have some very experienced goalies, especially with Iannone being the JV captain last year. He was very good in goal, but moving him up to varsity and making him a full-time starter, if you choose to do so, is a hard transition at first. So it's going to be tough losing Donovan Paul. Leo scored most of our goals. Riley Stolte, I mean, that's also another big loss. Everyone else, it's just part of high school. I mean, people graduate. It's kind of how it goes. It sucks, but the team looks very good this year. And now we're going to bring our visitor onto the podcast. We've been talking about him almost all episode. Ethan Iannone is joining to answer some questions. Ethan, super excited to have you here today. Thank you for taking your time to come onto our podcast. We're going to jump straight into some of our questions for you. So we've had some graduates. We were just talking about this. How much does the defensive play change the way you play your game as a goalkeeper?
I mean, definitely yes. Like, missing Pablo is going to be, like, a big deal. He was our main defenseman last year. But we still have Matt this year, junior, becoming a senior this year. I look forward to a lot of the underclassmen coming up. I know they're really good at defense. I look forward to playing with them. But, every game's different. Every team's going to have a different offense. Yeah, me as a goalkeeper, I just got to spot their strengths and stop it.
Well, the schedule came out fairly recently. Practice, I believe, started up a couple weeks ago. You may not have had a lot of time to look over the schedule, but what game do you think you're looking forward to most?
I mean, last season, when I fall asleep at night and I think about soccer games, I definitely think about Tom's River East, that game 6-0 that we lost. Just they were playing so aggressively. I just want to come back at them and play even harder than they did.
You said they played very aggressively. Is there any way that you'd be able to suppress that as goalie?
Yes, I just need to be more physical. Like, I know the refs are not going to be able to see everything, so I just got to be more physical, pushing them, shoving them to the ground, not giving them a chance to score any goals.
What seems to be like the tone? What do you think the goal of the team is going to be this year?
The tone of this team, I think we just need to be better than last season. Like, we just got to work on growth. We have more underclassmen coming up. I feel like these players have like the opportunity to play with some of our seniors this year, and we can be a great team, have a better record, and maybe have more wins than losses.
Well, seeing some of the upperclassmen come up and play with seniors, they're going to grow a lot from them, a lot to teach. Obviously, they've probably been on the team 2 or 3 years at varsity now for some of them. One last question, just a quick and fun one. Who do you think your favorite teammate is?
Ooh, that's a tough one. It's got to go to 2 different players, Oscar and Vinny Santos. Oscar is just fun to be around. He's a great soccer player. I've been playing with him ever since I was little on travel. Vinny's just a great player. He's so aggressive. Like, when you're playing with him, he's the best teammate. You're going to give it to him 100%.
Well, if Vinny is listening, shout out to you. You're a great dude. You're so fun to be with. We had so much fun in history last year. You did great, Ethan. Thank you so much for coming on.
Thank you.
I had a lot of fun with this. Ethan Anthony, he is not here. He had to leave a little earlier, but he also had a lot of fun with this. We've been looking forward to recording this one for a while. Thank you so much for joining our podcast today. I'm Tyler Bjorkman, co-host Ethan Anthony. Ethan Iannone also here joining the pod today. We appreciate your time. We will see you next time.